Click the links to join the channel here on Subscribestar. Thanks to the recent members. Turns out to make a huge difference. And someone left a tip the other day on YouTube. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know you could do that. Very cool. So are you too white for Wakanda? How are you possibly going to cover such a spicy topic? Well, simple, sort of by sidestepping it. And this kind of reminds me of the CB4 movie from the 90s. Why would you support it? Like, can you make that movie nowadays? Or what was that other movie, Drinking Your Juice in the Hood or something, where like people were making fun of their own kind of like there's some self-awareness that's going on behind the scenes that Hollywood definitely wants to keep a lid on, and it, for all different groups of people, like the best thing would be for people of these different ends of the spectrum to get together and talk without the puppet masters telling them what they may or may not say. But turns out if you have too big of an audience, you will get punished for having these conversations, which is weird. It's like we don't really run the country. We don't really have the freedoms we thought we had if these billion-dollar corporations can just destroy us. So why would you support Disney at all? This is dealing with some useful idiot puppet. It doesn't matter what she says. She's just another useful idiot who's been manipulated by this corporate machine. It's like all you have to do is look up, ask who benefits, follow the money. Am I being manipulated? Are there facts and evidence that support this? Am I being manipulated? Who's manipulating me? Just say like, well, who owns this company? And okay, so it's a holding company owned by, so who owns that holding company? Well, it's a partially, okay, well, who owns controlling shares? Well, who sits on the board? Well, who are these people who are pulling the strings? Who are they? Who are they? And finally, if you go through a few layers, you go, oh, so these are the people who are manipulating me to feel a certain way against a certain group of people. Weird. Hey, if you hate somebody, you hate somebody. Even if you hate entire groups of people, it's like, do you really feel that way based on your own evidence, or were you manipulated to feel that way? Either way, it's like don't lie to yourself. Don't be manipulated. Like, don't drink anyone else's Kool-Aid. So, supporting Disney at all, why on earth would you do that? Or Hollywood? Why would you support Hollywood? Hollywood is a den of vipers. The wretched hive of scum and villainy. Yeah, George Lucas nailed that one. So the puppet masters send the puppets forth and say, go and foment discord between the tribes, sow chaos, grow the weeds tall, keep the cattle distracted. Social media and a lack of honest feedback has made all this possible, but the puppet masters make full use of their useful idiots who are only too eager to be manipulated without looking up and saying, I feel like somebody's pulling these strings. I feel like these emotions aren't quite like I've been manipulated, and we've all been manipulated to feel certain ways. Wakanda is a property made loosely by two Middle Eastern guys by way of Turkey, East Russia, then Eastern Europe, who were throwing ideas against the wall as fast as possible to see what comics would stick with people, what characters would stick, what's timely at the right point with the right audience, and what connects with people, what sells. It's like that's what comics. There's no great philosophy of comics. It's like they're just trying to make money with comics, which is genius in their own way. But Wakanda is a commercial bit of pop culture whose only purpose is to make money. It has no deep meaning to Jack Kirby or Stan Lee. It has no deep meaning to anyone. It's derivative of derivative of derivative, and that doesn't mean that it's not still genius in its own way. Marketing and bringing a product to market is it is a clever thing to do, but it's not. It's like the difference between Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones or Wheel of Time. You read those three story universes, and you know that one is real and two are derivative. Even if Lord of the Rings itself is derivative of earlier works, but he stood on the shoulders and he surpassed it, where the other two are like they didn't. They are derivative. They didn't create any. They didn't bring anything new to the table. And if you think the Wakanda universe or anything from Marvel has any meaning to African people, then I don't know, congratulations, you've been manipulated by Hollywood, which is being manipulated by the worst people on earth. I really can't properly express how I feel about them and stay on YouTube. There are heroic African tales to tell. Ironically, most of them are recorded or told by European people because they went there and they observed, and people hear that and they think, oh, it's going to be insulting, and no, that just shows an absolute lack of reading about the history of the people who went to Africa for various dealings and wrote their observations or even fictionalized accounts. It's like, yeah, I'm sure some of it is going to be a little xenophobic, but not all of it, and some of it is going to be more even-handed. Like I always mention Henry Rider Haggard if you want a fictionalized version of that universe. If you think those tales are going to be told by Disney, no. I mean, how did you get to the place in your thinking where you look at Disney and you're defending Disney in any way, shape, or form at all? Or if somebody insults a movie made by Disney that you feel you need to rush to its defense, I don't know. I mean, you can hear the frustration of looking at people. You just want to say, snap out of it. Just look at Disney. Look at Disney. Snap out of this. You're being manipulated. A psych op is when you get excited about the next thing, the red letter media, consumer, the video game, the movie, the cattle slop, the Happy Meal collectible toy, which somebody sell on eBay. So this piece of plastic is, extruded plastic made in China, then put on a diesel ship and shipped across and then put in packaging, and then it's a huge carbon footprint for garbage that you're putting on your shelf. And it's like, yeah, ultimately things are worth what you pay for them, though. I mean, even that, it's like you look at the fiat currency, it's like stare into this rabbit hole abyss like just too long. But I think we're getting to the end of all this kind of stuff. Anyway, so all those things are not real. Your neighbor who's selling homemade jewelry or has got a kiln in his backyard and is making, collectible figurines or something that he sculpts, fires up, and then you glaze and paint or whatever. That's real. Or some small YouTuber selling T-shirts. That's real. Think locally, reduce, reuse, recycle. Those are all real. Even, anything like that. Comicsgate, they're selling comics like this. You got some small Comicsgate producer who's putting something together. That's all real stuff. Where if you've got to, focus your resources, your time and money on something, it's infinitely better to do that, to get involved in, comics that's sold by real people that on YouTube. But McDonald's in Hollywood is poison. It's just poison in different forms. One is brain poison. So this girl telling people not to see the movie, you're looking at someone who is deep in the matrix. I guess I'm supposed to move this up. It's not her fault. And don't get mad at her. She's a victim of the psych op. Like a lot of us have been victims of psych ops. Though, I mean, to some of our credit, like we came out of it. I don't know why. I think like natural born assholes or people who just have disagreeable personalities come out of things quickly because like we don't have a need to please. Like we're not sociopaths, but I mean, we're always asking questions like, oh, show me the evidence for that. Oh, why is that? Why is that? Why is that? And when the answer is, oh, they're a marginalized and oppressed person, and they're like, that's like your privilege. It's like, that's not an answer. That doesn't logically flow. Maybe it's a male thing to be more logically minded, more like analytical math and sciences sort of thing, where like we just don't like, I've heard it said that left-wing guys have a thing where if you ask them something that exposes them to herd mentality, they will parse it through this internal matrix of, what will the consequences be if I tell the truth, and how do I craft my answer to please the herd? Where people who are more independently minded are just like, you ask me an honest question, I'm going to look you in the eye and give you the honest answer. I might couch it in the best way I can present it, the nicest way. Because again, like to be honest doesn't mean you're a rude sociopath. But if they need an honest opinion, like they asked you for it, give them the honest, hey, we're going to crocodile surf. Oh, that's probably not a good idea because their crocodiles are really, really aggressive and you're probably going to get hurt like permanently. Oh, oh, well, these nice meaning liberals in their Tesla told me that was just a fantastic idea because they saw me as a marginalized and oppressed person who can, they'll never be honest. Yeah, that's called the soft bigotry of lowered expectations. They're your enemy. The shitlord on 4chan building an N-word tower is probably not your enemy. They're offensive, but that doesn't mean what you think it means. But like you've been strawmanned, brainwashed by these same Tesla wine drinking liberals in San Francisco who are getting high off their own supply into thinking that these other people, these shitlords, are really your enemy. Anyway, so she's a victim of a psyop. She thinks that you and I are the bad guys. We got to get her to look up at the puppet masters who are actually pulling her strings. The black and white thing is not actually important in this context. It's the artificial conflict that she has been tricked into believing that is the issue. She's like somebody who's fighting over a hand grenade that already has the pin pulled because she thinks it's a pretty, object of art that she's going to, I don't know, put in her pocket and collect or something. The fact that she is investing any emotional energy into the plastic fuck doll Hollywood is the biggest L imaginable. If I had any hair, I'd be pulling it. If you're so pro-black, and no judgment on that, be pro your own tribe. I think the past few years have taught everyone that. Then, by all means, support a project by your own people. By these hands or by none is a really good thing to keep in the back of your mind. The fact that you're supporting Hollywood and defending Hollywood or any product of Hollywood is insane. It's disgusting. And we're not mad at you. We feel bad for you, and we feel bad for the system that got you into thinking that this represents you or your people in any way, shape, or form. Like, at least, I mean, with the Woman King, presumably that was at least a black project. Like, it was insane, don't get me wrong, but it was a project that you could at least support and go like, listen, we know the story is stupid, but at least it's our people making it. We're going to support it for that reason. It's like, okay, that's fine. Great. Oh, we're going to support Disney because we think it's our story, or it makes us look good, or it makes us feel good. It's like, dude, no, just slap yourself and just keep slapping yourself until you go, oh, I get it now. I get it. The Disney, the McDonald's, is this plastic. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for the recent members on YouTube and on Subscribestar. And adopt, don't shop. Rescue dogs are the best dogs. And I'll see you guys all next episode.